Our thoughts and feelings are our own and are not representative of Electronic Arts as a whole or anyone else.
Once again, it's time for the Team Lift podcast with your hosts, Brandon Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Let's go ahead and get right into the show. So here's what happens. Okay, so just get off of work. I'm coming over here to see you. And I decide, hey, I'm going to stop at that store by Brandon's. But you'd warned me, be careful going to that store because there's a lot of prostitutes down there. So I was on the phone with Belly and I said, hey, man, just talk to me because if one of these prostitutes walks up on me and I'm on the phone, I can always say, no, thank you, and just keep staying in the phone call so I don't have to make eye contact. And he said, yeah, okay, so no problem. So I'm down here and I'm getting my, I'm gonna just grab some chicharrones, some crackling, and maybe get some Snapples. And I'm in the store waiting, and this one-eyed Mexican woman walks into the store. And it's like, okay, there's one real eye, and then there's a cybernetic eye.
What?
In this side, like in the right side.
You met a cyborg tonight.
Bro, look, I'm telling you right now, this eye is moving, but it is scanning the fucking room, and it has like this neon green kind of light to it or iris to it. And I'm like,
did you just meet the Terminator?
I don't know, bro. I'm like, I'm not going to lie. I'm a 6'1", 330-pound black man. I almost left all my shit at the register and walked the fuck out because neon green eyes is coming up in here and scanning the room. And I'm like, I don't know who she's coming back to stop. But if John Connor's in here, fuck him and this Snapple. I'm about to leave, man. I seriously panicked. I really just stopped. Like, I looked at her and then you don't mean to stare. Fuck it, I stared.
Did that eye make the sound like those old school Cylons?
Bro, I didn't want to get close to her, but the eye was fucking like it. This eye was moving independently of where this eye was, and the shit looked neon green. And I was like, is she getting a readout of everybody's data as she's in here? What the fuck is she doing? Like, I've been watching that Psycho-Pass anime, so, I don't like seeing people's eyes go neon green because that means they're reading you and their dominator's about to shoot you. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. What's she doing over there? Bro, I was scared. I panicked a little. I was like, this is some bullshit going on right now. Of all nights, I go down here and I'm scared of hookers. You never once told me, hey, there's some cyborgs down there too, man. You need to watch out for the cyborg people. I just thought I just had to watch out for hookers. Nope. Cyborgs.
Oh, so you went to the one that's down further.
Yeah, like if I pass Wansley and I go down, like,
okay,
remember the way we went when we were going to the restaurant that night?
Yeah.
That way.
Yeah. I don't like to go to that one.
I won't ever go to that one again.
If you take a right to get onto Wansley, and then you go down to Gessner, and you take a right on Gessner, there's a little meat market there. That's a much safer place to go.
Oh, well, I will be going to that one next time, but I promise you, I will not be going to that one.
Yeah.
Because, man, that messed me up, bro. I was just like, why is this cyborg guy lady up in here just chilling? Like, and she was a sweet old lady. I'm just telling you, I don't know, maybe it was a real fake eye or a glass eye, but it shouldn't have been neon green. That stands out. I was like, why didn't you just get a normal brown eye to match your other brown eye? Your shit's neon green, and it's moving independently like it was robotic, and it was noticeable. It was fucking noticeable. I'm just saying. Stopped me for the night. I was like, man, I don't even know what we're going to talk about on the show, man, because she stopped me tonight in all my tracks.
You're just scared.
Yeah,
just
I
out
was
of your
shook
mind.
up, man. It's like every time I come to your neighborhood, some weird shit happens, but now I'm dealing with cyborgs. So I was like, okay, didn't know that was going to happen tonight.
Yeah.
So, man, how you doing?
Pretty good. I'm just preparing for the weekend.
What you got going on?
I'm going to head up to Waco.
Hi, go see Miss Jenny.
Yeah, her parents are going to be out of town for the weekend, so.
Oh, that's cool, man. You haven't been up for a weekend in a while, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. I just saw your message you sent me when I was on my way here. That's awesome. Okay, also, in between shows, we have a special guest for our Madden episode. He will be here tonight.
We'll be here tonight. What time is he going to get
tonight?
here?
He will be here by 9:15.
Okay, we can do that.
So we're That's
we'll do a second show.
Second show. Going to be awesome. But before we can get to the second show, let's get into the first one, man. We have not done a episode like this in a while. This is, where we kind of go back to our roots, I guess we should say, which is where we talk about video game news. We haven't done a video game news episode in a long, long time, it seems like. And we, especially we did, starting the new year off, we got into, we kind of talked about our picks for 2016. Then we just did our last episode where we had Major Tom from the Chainsaw Ape crew on here, and we discussed the Switch. So we did a Switch special, Nintendo Switch special, and we got the pros and cons of that. But we really haven't covered a lot of news or video game industry news for 2017. And this will be our time to get kind of caught up on some stories. So what I thought we would do tonight is let's talk about things that we found interesting. All right. So now, by the time this show comes out, I mean, this is boring, but I think we'd put it in there. I was just going to even give it a quick mention. Toddlers are in Sims 4 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The internet has lost its fucking mind behind
Toddlers
this.
and vampires in the same month.
Yes. So, okay, here's my thing.
They're just different kinds of vampires, really.
And we're going to have to put one of those. Just because we brought this up, it has to be on the show before we air this show, that we are employees of EA. Okay, so it has to be stated that we are employees of EA. This is not a paid endorsement by EA. This is just our personal opinion. We've been watching this. They put toddlers in the game, and people lost their fucking minds.
Yeah.
Just like really went crazy behind toddlers. Now, when I play The Sims, I don't want kids in the game. Like, I go out of my way not to have babies and kids because I have too many kids in real life. Therefore, that's not a game for me. That's not entertaining to have to care for little humans in a game. That's called real life. And so I personally would always try to turn off that thing to have babies. And I was much like my real life. My guy, I made this black stand-up comedian in Sims 4, bald-headed, glasses, kind of chunky, had a big, muscular upper body, chest, and arms. And the first person he attracts is a Mexican doctor. He starts dating her, and boom, we have a fucking baby. And I went and deleted that save. I was like, fuck no. Delete. I don't play The Sims 4 no more. And then I went and put the mother load code in, got myself $2.5 million, and said, if I can't have a Mexican wife, I guess I'll have a penthouse in city living. Which is what that is. You trade in your wife and kids for a penthouse. I'm not saying that's the Kanye West profile, but I'm going to be in the high rise. You
get one or the other, really.
Yeah, I'm going into the high-rise apartment. I wanted the Mexican wife, and I did not want the baby. She would love the baby, and I had a sweet 2-story home, and
see, this is why somebody needs to make a fucked up version of The Sims where you can do horrible things. Like
they already have that. It's called Sims 3.
No. I'm talking about I want if we mix The Sims and GTA together.
Oh my God.
Where you could literally you don't take control of a sim, you just do the sim stuff. But there's crime and drugs and death and guns and all the shit that's cut out of The Sims. Let's just pile that into another game and then add The Sims on top of it. It will make so much fucking money,
bro. So you know how many people would have their Sims as junkies?
Yeah,
they would have junkie Sims out whoring.
Yeah, I just want to put a gun and a chair and a bottle of whiskey in a room with no doors and no windows, and just put the sim in there and just see how long it takes.
You're going to have to put more than one bottle of whiskey. I'm just saying. I'm going to put some pills on this table, 3 bottles of whiskey, and a gun. And you're not getting out of here. Let's just figure out what happens.
Yeah. I want to be able to do Saw in the video game. That would be amazing.
First of all, if there was a Saw mod out for The Sims, I would probably download that shit. And I would put Sims in there and just say, nobody's getting out until one of you dies. And just see how long it would take them.
Yep.
In fact, I'd put 10 Sims in there and 10 weapons, and I'd just see who's the badass. Whoever survives gets to come out, but I'm just we're just going to see what happens in here. That would be so messed up. We're not good people.
It would be a great video game.
I think people would. Here's the thing: as messed up as that sounds, somebody listening to this is going to want that.
Yeah.
There's somebody out there right now
I've
that
wanted it
wants
for
that
a long
game.
time.
Man, we're messed
I'd
up.
play
people.
that.
We are so messed up.
I mean, if you think about it realistically, it's not that big of a leap because there are games out there that are like browser based games where you just log in and do a bunch of actions and then log out and wait for it to cycle. Like, you know, Pimp Wars and I don't know. There's a whole bunch of drug related simulators that are out there.
There's a game called Pimp Wars.
Yeah, I think it's called Pimp Wars.
Is that on PC?
Yeah, it's just it's a website. You go and log in, and then you like create an account. And you log in, and then you like you create a drug empire basically, and you can. But none of it you don't actually see any of this shit. It's just like text basically. But that's the game.
I didn't know. Nobody can see how much I'm smiling right now. I'm like, this exists? Oh God! Why are you telling me this? Why? First of all, why do I want to play this? That is a terrible thing. Oh my God, you're pulling this up, aren't you?
Let's see. This is Pimp War. Oh
Pimp
God,
War.
that is a terrible sound. I'm gonna mute this tab so that doesn't do that again. But yeah, you sign up and you can play. And they have like leaderboards and stuff like that.
You really are running a drug empire in Pimp War.
Yeah, there's not just Pimp Wars. There's a whole bunch of other ones that are like drug related and shit.
Okay, no more. We'll move on. Okay, I don't know why I'm even getting so fascinated by this. So the other thing we missed out. We didn't talk about this year, but I saw you had it pulled up earlier.
What?
Rotten Tomatoes best reviewed TV sci-fi fantasy horror of 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Now I found this fascinating. You just passed it.
I did.
Yeah, go up one more.
There
Right
it is.
there.
Oh
Yay.
yeah. Oh yeah. I remember this story now.
This was pretty fascinating because I know how big of fans you were of all this. You and I were both kind of fans of a bunch of this, but there's one show on this list you're watching that I'm not watching. I think we know what it is.
Supergirl?
I have not watched an episode.
You need to
of
watch Supergirl, man.
Everybody I talk to tells me
the
I need
shit.
to watch Supergirl, and I've yet to watch one episode.
Man, them crossover
I haven't watched The
episodes,
Flash
man.
this season. I have not watched an episode of The Flash. I've really fallen behind. Okay, this year, I've kind of given up on TV and anime, and I picked up on gaming more.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that 52 games and 52 week challenge. So it's really a bitch trying to keep up with all this. Okay, but let's look at this list. So, highest rated was with
Somehow-
a 100.453?
Yeah. Somehow it's got more than 100%. That's how good it is.
Yeah, what is and that was the adjusted score.
Mm-hmm.
The adjusted score has it over 100.
Yeah.
And Rotten Tomatoes gave this their number one Golden Tomato Award, Supergirl Season 2.
It's the best.
Man, dude, they love this show. Now, this show got us. We were both mega fans of this one. Marvel's Luke Cage Season 1 with an adjusted score of 98.597, which was, bro, I'm going to be honest with you, possibly the best Marvel Netflix series.
Yeah.
Possibly the best. I mean,
It's on par with Daredevil season 1.
yeah, like they're going to really have to kick ass in Iron Fist, man.
It's like I think it kind of shakes out. It's like Daredevil, then Luke Cage, and then Jessica Jones, and then we'll see where
Iron Fist falls
Iron
in that.
Fist falls in that. I honestly think that Iron Fist is going to be like 4. I don't think Iron Fist is going to be that good.
You don't think it will be?
I want it to be really good. I want it to be amazing, but I don't think it's going to be.
Man.
It's either that or it's going to come out and everybody's going to get mad at it because the protagonist is a white guy who has Asian powers.
But he's a white guy in the comic book.
I
Danny Rand
know.
has always been a white guy in the comic
Well,
book.
yeah,
So.
I know, but there's so much better ways to tell that story.
Okay, yeah, that's possibly true. I mean,
You have it be an Asian American who grew up in America and then has to go back home to learn and then come back. And then he's a fish out of water in both places because in America he feels like he's out of place because he's a first generation born in the United States Asian, and then he's having to go back to China. And when he goes back to China, he doesn't feel like he's at home there either because he's American.
do you know whose story you're telling? That's Shin-Chi or Shin-Chi The Master of Kung Fu. He also appears in some of the Power Man, Iron Fist comic books. He used to have his own comic book in the 70s. That's his story you're telling right there. That's what you want. You basically want his show.
Yeah.
But not a bad thing to want. I mean, I think he's a fascinating character. He's been pretty much relegated to guest starring roles in other comic books, but he's starting to appear a lot more in the new Marvel now, especially with their whole diversity plan. So to see him get his own series, I wouldn't think is out of the question. He's going to have to definitely get a comic book series before they launch the show. Here, third one. I don't know if you watched this one.
Well, I watched Stranger Things.
Oh my God,
I watched the
Stranger
shit out of that
Things
show.
had me like, okay. Not going to lie, one of my personal favorites, this is kind of E.T., Goonies, and it reminded me of everything I loved of the 80s.
Somehow they managed to create nostalgia with a new property, which is just weird. It's an entirely brand new property. It's not based on anything, but it's based on all of these other things, and it gives you that same nostalgia feels for 80s stuff that genuine 80s stuff gives you.
Yes. Bro, I swear to God, it was like I was watching something from my childhood. I loved everything about Stranger Things. I'm really excited for the cast. I thought they were an amazing cast, young kids. They did a really great job. The music, everything they did, was just amazing. I just love that series.
Yep.
So I was really happy to see this one hit the list. Because, man, I was like, it pulled in a 98.22 score, man. It's adjusted score. I thought that was pretty impressive. Here's another show. I've never watched one episode of this show, so it's going to be kind of messed up when I say this. Orphan Black Season 4. And they said Orphan Black makes a 180-degree return to its roots with an experimental fourth season that dwells deeper into the show's strange, innovative premise. I have never watched Orphan Black.
I've tried to watch Orphan Black on several times. I cannot get through the first episode.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just I don't care, or if it's just not interesting, or if like it's one of those shows where I need to give it like 5 or 6 episodes, but I just cannot get through the first season.
I have yet to just sit down and attempt it. So no judgment there. It pulled a 97.245, which tells me that a lot of people in geek culture are feeling this show. And here's what impresses me. This show came in ahead of Game of Thrones Season 6. That's something to think about. Game of Thrones Season 6 pulled a 97.006. And we know the juggernaut that Game of Thrones is. And for it to be on this list,
I quit watching that show after like season 3.
Really?
Yeah. Or it's season 3, season 4. They basically started spoiling things that are going to be in books that haven't come out yet in the show, and I would rather just wait for the books and read them. So I just stopped watching it. Not only that, like they started doing things in the show to completely change entire aspects of the book that just make it hot garbage to me. It's like that whole fight between Brian and the Hound, that never happened in the books. Never. They were on two opposite sides of the continent, and he's presumed dead. After they get into the fight at the bar or / inn, and they leave, he gets sick, like physically, like he gets, from his wounds, he gets like the flu or something along those lines, and she just like takes off and leaves. They never go to what the fuck is that place? They never go to the Eyrie. That never happens in the books. They never go there together. Like it's I don't know. I'm just being a snob, I guess, about it. But yeah, that whole show pisses me off.
So you really gave up on that show? You're done with it?
I've been done with it for a couple of years now. I didn't even bother trying to watch any of season 5.
Damn, dude. You kind of got me messed up on this.
Read the books and then go back and watch the show and then tell me which one you think is better.
In order for me to read those books, they're bigger than that book, the Bible, and I have a hard enough time trying to pick that one up. And it's just like, that's a lot of pages to read. I've heard great things about it. I've just given up reading, basically. Like the last book I read was The Midnight Circus, which I thought was a fascinating book, and it was a page turner. And everybody says, if you would just pick up the first book in the series, you will fall in love with this book series. and I just have yet to be able to make myself read the book yet. I will, you know what? If I can just get through the first one this summer, I'll do that. I just need to read the first book.
If you can get a hold of the audiobooks are really good. They're read by Roy Dotrice, which is the guy who played the pyromancer in season 3, the guy who gave them all the fire to, light the bay on fire. That guy, that actor, reads all the books, and he's amazing. Like, he does a different voice for every character, and you can tell which character is speaking by which voice he's using. Like, I know exactly who Tyrion is whenever Tyrion opens his mouth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's excellent. It's so much better than the show. It's like 10 times better. And there's more characters in the books. There's more locations in the books. There's more story arcs in the books. Like, it's everything that you like about the show, but even bigger. And he wrote it specifically that way so that it could not be filmed. And then they tried to film it. So if that gives you any indication as to the type of books these are.
Still, going to be tough. Oh, I will try to commit to it. All right. Now, this was a story I hit you with on January 19th. And I found this to be super fascinating. Crunchyroll, which is like synonymous with anime in the U.S., they put out their list. Biggest anime of the year.
Okay.
Was not the most obvious choice. Now, when most people think of anime for 2016, the first one they think of is the very homoerotic Yuri on Ice. Okay, and I say homoerotic, but it wasn't like there was there was no sex scene between guys. It was just guys doing some really gay shit at times. I loved it. I watched it. I was fascinated by the story. Like, Belly and I watched it, and we were sitting there talking about, like, one day, caught myself watching a figure skating competition. And when the guy hit a triple Lutz, I was like, that's a good execution on that triple Lutz. He kind of over-rotated, though. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Why am I watching this? And 2, how did I know he over-rotated that triple Lutz? And knowing the difference between a triple Lutz and a triple axel. I shouldn't know any of this.
I don't know any of that.
I was watching this, and it was like Yuri on Ice taught me some of this.
I think that Will Ferrell movie where they were figure skaters, that's like about the closest I've ever gotten to watching figure skating.
Dude, I'm going to tell you this, man. This show was pretty amazing. I've tried to get some friends of mine to watch it. I'm going to be honest. Most guys... Most of my boys are manly men. They refuse to watch it, and if they have watched it, they're not admitting to watching it. But it was kind of there were some questionable scenes where I could go, "Are these two in love? Are these two doing it? What's going on with these two guys?"
Well, it is called Yuri on Ice. I mean,
but that Yuri should be 2 chicks, but these were all guys, male figure skating, and it's like. And then one of the coolest things was there's this guy. There was a figure skater here at a competition, and he did the double J symbol of JJ in the anime. He does it at a competition when they're sitting over there at the side. He hit it, and it was like it went viral, and you knew, oh my God, this fool's been watching Yuri on Ice. And he was sitting over there, where they kind of, after they finished their partners routine, him and the girl he's skating with, and he's sitting over there, and he hits the double J's with his fingers, and everybody was like, he's watching Yuri. Yeah, dude. So that was the thing. A lot of people thought Yuri on Ice, the ice skating romantic comedy, it really took the world by storm. Okay, the numbers it posted were amazing. But it was not the biggest anime of the year. If you look at the biggest anime of the year, top 2016 anime on Crunchyroll by country, a little known anime named ReZero, Starting Life in Another World, which I also watched this one, is the one that in Japan, in North America, South America, and Europe, and the world over, ReZero was met with incredible excitement and chatter. It ran for 26 episodes from April to September. The fantasy show was about a boy named Subaru who kind of got trapped in this magical world. And it wasn't But it was based on his love of like RPGs and JRPGs and manga and stuff, was how he survived in the world. He always had a plan kind of going how to, oh, so you would be this protagonist, or you would be the stepsister love interest in this kind of game. So that's how he attacked everything in this magical world. And so he also found out that he could reset. Like if somebody killed him, he would just reset. He'd wake back up before he got killed. And so he kept resetting, and he figured out how to beat everything in this world, right? Yeah. And it had some political intrigue, you know, kind of like you would see on the Game of Thrones, where it was like, this kingdom's making this power move, this kingdom's making this power move, these people don't like this group for this. So there were some things going on in this one. Here's what I didn't know. There was a manga. There were several novels. They also have an active subreddit right now. Like, I didn't even know ReZero had a subreddit. I dug into this.
Subreddit.
Bro, this subreddit is on the level of, like, some of the biggest, like, you know, even Marvel Cinematic Universe subreddit. It's on that level. The number of people in this room at any time is on a whole nother level. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't even know that many people were watching this anime, and they're breaking down, like, the subplots and all the little different twists it took. I mean, it was a huge show. Now, what got me about this is they didn't even break it down like by, well, they did kind of break it down by numbers, right? But the thing that they broke down by numbers that gets me was they broke down Yuri on Ice. And for Yuri on Ice to put up these kind of numbers, listen to this. Yuri on Ice was recently named the most tweeted about anime of fall 2016 with 1.5 million posts about the series just from November 24th to December 14th. 1.5 million posts just about Yuri on Ice. And I'm probably one of those, because I do swear one of my posts is like, nigga, this is gay. I think that was one of my posts. And I'm going to finish this, but nigga, this is getting real gay. And I think that was how my whole post went. It was, it just was some weird stuff, man. And the thing is, Yuri on Ice was big in places like Hong Kong, Poland, Botswana. How is an African nation into some damn ice skating? I don't really think of African nations and ice skating being big there.
Well, they do have the internet.
Yeah, that's true too. But man, that's still, it was weird. It was weird. But yeah, no, I'm telling you, man, it was really cool to see that. So the biggest anime, and here's the thing, I talked about this on our anime show we did one time, and I skipped over it. I just kind of talked about it, gave it maybe 5 minutes. I was excited about it. Didn't think anybody else was into it. I moved on. So that was kind of neat. I found out that, you know, it was kind of neat to know that other people were into the geeky shit that I was into. All right. So let's kind of move on now, man. What's this thing you hit me with? Human skin can now be printed out in transplant breakthrough?
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
It's been a little while since I've actually read this story, since I probably put it up there like a week or two ago.
Yeah, but you were saying it's like these biologists have built a prototype 3D bioprinter that can create functional human skin.
Yeah, so I mean, there's this other technique where they take stem cells and they have like a spray gun, like you use for like paints,
right?
And they just spray stem cells on you, and the stem cells turn into new skin, and you heal that way. This is, I believe, something similar, but it's allowing them to actually print out the skin, and then you can just apply that. Because right now, the skin that they use on burn victims is from cadavers. They just cut the skin off and then put it on and graft it into place, and then hopefully you don't catch an infection and die or reject it.
Wow, this is crazy. Man, this is okay. Look, when people were talking about 3D printers and the things, the technology, the fact that we're looking at this being able to do what it does, and where is this at? It's the researchers from the Universidad Carlos III de Madrid, the Center of Energy, Environmental, and Technological Research, and Hospital General Universitario. Good God, that is a long name. In Spain. Okay, they could have just said a hospital in Spain. But, yeah, this is where they're doing this. And so this is pretty, and now they're looking, you know, for ways where maybe they could get this out to other people. Now, I can see where this is going to be big for, like, burn victims and stuff like that. It's designed to be transplanted, you know, but it's like they're using the patient's own skin cells. or their own stem cells to do this, so that they don't reject it? Is that how it works?
Essentially, yeah. I would assume it's something along the lines of the stem cells, where they are using. They have a technique for turning your own cells into stem cells, and then they can use those stem cells to then grow stuff for you.
Impressive.
At least that's what it seems like it is. I don't know.
Impressive.
Fortunately, I don't know much about biology. I just think it's fucking cool.
Yeah, no, that was impressive, man. I don't even know where you found that whole thing, man, but when you sent that to me, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit messed up by the whole thing. I was just like, where is he getting this? And this is probably where we mess up. We send way too much crazy stuff to each other like this during the day.
Yeah.
Way too much, but I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty impressed. So let's look at the next issue. What do we got coming up next? What do we got in here? You got...
Oh, there's a lot of stuff. I mean...
God, we got so many stories going on that we've missed.
Ben Affleck is no longer directing his own Batman feature, probably because his last movie fucking tanked harder than Geely.
Yeah, I was really sad about that too. The trailers for that looked good, had me excited, but it was just kind of like, what is going on here? What is really going on here? So, have they said who's replacing him yet?
I believe that they have a director. Either they have a director or they have a short list of directors. Let me go look.
And it says he's going to stay on as the producer, though.
Yeah, he's still going to be producer and he's still going to be starring in it, and he's still writing it. He's just not directing it.
Yeah, because that Live by Night was his recent film. I really had high hopes for that. It got ripped on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it was pulling like a... Last time I looked, it was a 45. I haven't looked since that first weekend when it was pulling a 45. It could have gone up or down since then, but I never did get to see it. I know it didn't stay in theaters long either. So, and he says he's already completed work as the Caped Crusader in the Justice League, which opens November 17th. And you still are not excited about that one.
Which one?
The Justice League movie.
Oh, yeah, and it's going to be a shit show. They're all going to be shit shows. This Batman movie is going to fucking be terrible. Justice League is going to suck. They're going to try to make Aquaman great again, but that's not going to fucking work either.
Why do you... Okay, so far, and if anybody's keeping track at home, you've hated every movie. The only movie you haven't hated was Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but that one wasn't good either.
Yeah, you just you gave it a higher score than we thought we were going to get out of you.
I didn't overtly, it didn't make me want to fucking run out of the theater or anything, but it wasn't great.
Well, okay, let's go back to this hot news then. Supergirl getting the original Superwoman, Terry Hatcher.
She's not Superwoman. She was
She's a Superwoman in my book. She will always be. She was Lois Lane to Dean Clark's Superman, but it's Terry Hatcher. She's super. She's super duper groovy, awesome in every way possible. So what is she going to be doing on there?
They seem to be setting her up to be the big bad for the end of the season.
Ooh. No name on the character she's playing yet? Just we know that's what she's coming in.
Let's see.
Any word on this one? Because you kind of got me messed up.
Either way, no confirmed word on when Terry's episodes will air.
Ooh, so
we don't know when they're going to air, and we don't know what she's going to be. It's just the rumblings on whether that she's going to be the bad guy.
Okay. We will definitely have to keep our eyes open for this. Now, are you a Dune fan?
Dune 2016?
No, are you Dune?
Dune. D-U-N-E.
D-U-N-E.
Okay, yeah. Yes.
So
I've read all the books except for the ones that were written by his son, which are fucking terrible. I've watched all the movies. I've even watched Jodorowsky's Dune, which he was the guy who originally had optioned Dune and only needed like $12 million to complete his project, and basically got stiffed by everybody in Hollywood because they didn't want to take a chance on giving him the money for it. And then when the option fell out for him to make the movie, they gave it to David Lynch, and David Lynch fucked it all up.
Yes. I remember, because David Lynch's version. I've watched that version. I was not a fan of that version. I never quite understood it. It was a little above me. Like, when I was a young kid when I watched it. So I was like, this isn't as cool as I thought it would be. But also the other thing about it, David Lynch was so fucking weird.
Well, that's the thing is Yorodowski would have made it even weirder. Like there's David Lynch's weird, and then there's Yorodowski's weird. But Yorodowski's weird, like he didn't even bother actually trying to read the books before he was going to make the movie. He knew what the basic story was, and he'd put together a whole movie out of that. That really had nothing to do with the actual Dune novel.
I've seen the documentary about him.
Yeah, Yorodowski's Dune. That like if you could like flip through his pages and things in that book, there's so much artwork. Like he hired, I think, was it Marlon Brando was going to be Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. Mm-hmm. That was going to be awesome. Like that movie, had it gotten made, would have been like watching acid on film.
Yeah, it was going to be out. It was going to be out there, but David Lynch's was like.
David Lynch
has just a weird sensibility of what's weird.
David Lynch's visuals were great. The movie itself is well put together. I'm not really sure why that pug made it from the beginning of the movie all the way to the end of the movie. You don't know what I'm talking about.
No, that little dog. I know what you're talking about. There was a little pug that was always.
Yeah.
Who was the one weird guy that was holding it all the time?
His dad.
What's that?
Paul's dad.
What was that about?
It was just no. I think you're thinking of Vladimir Harkonnen, but no. On the Atreides side, Paul's dad. Mm-hmm. Before they leave to go to Dune, they take this pug with them. That's their family dog.
Right.
And in the first couple of scenes in the movie, right before his dad gets killed, the dog is with them, and then the dog appears at the end of the movie, and like runs over. And, you know, I want to say his mom or his sister or something is holding that dog in, like, the last scene. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Like
I don't understand.
Dog just died with his daddy?
But yeah, but that's the other thing, too, is, like, this is a planet where a dog would be a burden, like a heavy water burden. So it doesn't make any sense that the dog is still alive at the end of the fucking movie.
Yeah, because wait a minute. It was a desert planet, right? I might have to go watch this movie again because I remember the whole thing about spice and then the sandworms.
Their weirding way with the little guns that they scream and the shit comes out, and the harder they scream, the more stuff breaks.
Yeah.
That's not in the book at all. They just made that shit up. It's interesting and it works for the film, but realistically, the weirding way was them knowing hand-to-hand combat and knowing how to fight and how to fight with knives. It was all the training that Paul had gotten under Duncan Idaho and all of his other masters before he left their home planet and went to Arrakis. That's the weirding way. That plus the voice, knowing how to like paralyze people with your voice or how to get them to do whatever you want to do. That's the stuff that the Bene Gesserit do to people all the time when they talk about using the voice. That's the weirding way. The weirding way is not some fucking triangle that you have on your belt and hold in your hand that you scream and rocks break. That's not...
Man. Dude, that's out of above me right there. That was just a weird film to me. Now you're making me say, I should probably read that book too.
The 4.5 hour David Lynch version that actually has the full intro, because they have a voiceover actor like reading this intro that's over the top of them looking at like what would be the animatics for that section of the movie that never made it into the film. Explains a lot of things that don't get explained in the film in the short version that confused the fuck out of everybody and is the reason why the movie didn't do so well.
Okay.
So if you watch the 4.5 hour version of Dune, that's where it's almost like the book. It's like, I'd say like 80% of the book. If you watch the Children of Dune miniseries and the Dune series that they put out on Sci-Fi, those are more like the books than the David Lynch version. Those are more in that direction. I just don't like their art direction on that one. Okay. I like if I could have David Lynch's art direction with that version's storyline with different actors, it would probably be a lot better.
Okay. So now, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because Legendary Pictures contracts are signed. Everything's done. Like, it's official as of yesterday, January 31st. Contracts are signed, and they're rebooting Dune.
Yeah.
Now, how do you feel about that?
Hopefully they give it to somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing.
You really, you kind of want to see this done right.
I want to see it done right, but I know it's not going to get done right because we're living in fucking fuck you, it's January all the time. By the way, fuck you, it's January basically means January is the month where Hollywood drops all of its pieces of shit. Like things that don't fit in summer, they can't be released as winter box office hits, so they just drop shitty movies. Like Triple X, the new Triple X movie, dropped this month. Fuck you, it's January. Monster Trucks, fuck you, it's January. Like,
but didn't the new Triple X do good though?
It's when all the piece of shit movies come out. It's when movies, like, you're not going to see a movie come out in January that's Oscar worthy ever. It's just not going to happen. Because if you release it in January, you're technically in the next year, which means that you got to wait an entire year before the Oscars come around. And by the time the Oscars come around, that movie is going to be completely forgotten. So Oscar worthy movies come out between like August and the end of November or mid-December. That's when all of your heavy hitters are going to come out.
Yeah, you're jockeying for your positions then.
January is the dumping ground where all of the other films that they've just had in production that need a release date go to die. Like, nobody's going to give Triple X Xander Cage's Return fucking an Oscar next year. That's why it came out in fucking January.
True.
January also, oddly enough, is the worst month to make money on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. It's the worst month out of the year to make money on YouTube. And so from like November to the end of December, that's your like cash cow months, because that's when people have a lot of time off from work and they can go and watch YouTube videos. And then after January's over, everybody's working. Nobody's watching fucking YouTube videos.
Yeah, because they got to pay off all the credit cards and debt they just racked up for the holidays.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, that free time does disappear, and then you find yourself now back to the grindstone.
Yeah.
Holidays are over. Kids are back in school. Everybody's getting their ass kicked, and we're trying to look towards summer.
Yeah, we're trying to look towards, March, April, May. That's
spring break, summer, those times.
Yeah.
Graduation in May. So, yeah, I kind of get that whole idea.
By the way, I stole Fuck You, It's January from Red Letter Media. If you haven't ever watched Red Letter Media, go to redlettermedia.com or go to youtube.com/redlettermedia. They are fucking hilarious.
And that's their thing. Fuck You, It's January.
Well, that's a video that they put out like every January, but they do a lot of new movie reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever heard of Mr. Plinkett?
No.
You never heard of Mr. Plinkett and his Star Wars reviews?
Oh.
That's from Red Letter Media. You should watch them.
Okay. Dude, look, I just got an education today on some hip shit. Okay. Now, there's some crazy shit going on. Hip-hop icon RZA has directed an episode of Iron Fist. Now, most people would get excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those most people.
That's the thing, is like, that's his schlock, though. That's his area.
Okay, let me tell you something. Have you ever watched The Man with Iron Fist?
The
Man with Iron Fist. It had like Russell Crowe.
Yeah, I watched it. It was fucking amazing. I love that film. It was so great. Like, the reason why that movie was good is because it was bad.
It was so bad, it was good. That's what you're trying
to say.
It was terrible.
It was no holds bar,
B movie,
tongue in cheek B movie on purpose. Terrible dialogue.
Do you
shitty
think that was done
storyline
on purpose? Because I didn't think he did that on purpose.
No, I think they did that on purpose because he did that on purpose because he's a fan of 70s, 60s and 70s
Shaw
action.
Brothers kung fu flicks.
Yeah, kung fu flicks. Like that he made the type of kung fu flick that he wanted to see when he was a kid watching kung fu flicks. That's what that is.
Yeah, I got into it not knowing what I was going to get, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my own fault. I didn't research it because all I knew was I love kung fu flicks. There's no secret about that, Yeah. I've watched pretty much damn near all the Shaw Brother classics. Mm-hmm. I have a copy on DVD of Super Ninjas, Chinese Super Ninjas, So this is a film. These films are near and dear to my heart. I've watched Return to the 36 Chambers. I know Garden Lou. I've watched all these films. So it was in Kill Bill, to me, was like a legitimate ode to those 70s kung fu action flicks.
Okay.
I was not quite sure what Man with the Iron Fist was supposed to be, but it was just like, how did you get Russell Crowe, who had won an Oscar, to be in this film? And then I think Lucy Liu was in it, and Batista was in it, and RZA, and I was just like, what in the hell am I watching? This film is terrible.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
you had to go into that movie knowing that it was going to be terrible and to enjoy it. Like, now that you know that it's supposed to be that way, if you go back and watch it again, I think you'll like it.
You know what? I may actually watch it again this weekend. I may just have to watch it again.
I think that was also like Batista's like debut film too. Like, that was what he did before he went and did Guardians of the Galaxy.
He was also in Spectre. He played the bad guy in Spectre, the James Bond film, which was very impressive. He was a scary ass bad guy in that. He was. I don't know. It was a weird. I definitely was not excited about that film after I watched it. So when I saw that he was going to be doing this, I was like, I am seriously not happy about this. Man, I don't know. Okay, so he is doing Iron Fist. We'll have to wait to see. Had they said what episode he's doing or the name of the episode?
No, I don't think so. They just said it was that he was doing one.
I'm actually checking for you. It looks like episode 6 of the upcoming Iron Fist Netflix will be directed by RZA. Okay, so we will binge watch it and get to 6, and I will pay special close attention to episode 6. The Iron Fist episode in particular that RZA has directed is titled Immortal Emerges from the Cave.
Wow. Emergence from the Cage, which means that's the episode where he finishes his training and comes back out of...
Yeah, that seems like his origin story. That's what we're thinking that's going to be.
Well, that's the exit from his origin story back to New York, I would assume.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we know which one to look for. Episode 6 and the title kind of got some ideas. I sent you something kind of crazy, and I don't know if you remember this. There was some rumors about a Cloak and Dagger TV series, and Tyrone Johnson and Tandy Bowen won't be pleased. Their fans won't be pleased because what it looks like they may go with is Noah Gray Cabey from Heroes and Debbie Ryan from Jessie fame on Disney. Could possibly be playing the leads in that TV series. I'm really okay with that. Mm-hmm. I think both of them are really good looking. I think Debbie Ryan, even though we've seen her on Disney movies, I think she could probably play the role of Dagger easily. Yeah. Probably bring some edge to it, and plus bring some softness. So I kind of want to see what she does with this, but it's definitely. The fact that those names are getting thrown around and that production is expected to begin next month. So they're talking about production getting started next month, or I should say this month since it's February. But still, we haven't even heard where the show's going. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's nobody said what network's picking it up. It's not said whether it's a Netflix show or ABC mid-season replacement. It's just they're starting production and nobody's attached to this.
Weird.
I have noticed that. That's the thing that I don't know if anybody's been paying attention to this, but yeah, that's really crazy. Only big news we got left now is, let me ask you about this. Logan. The countdown is on to Logan. It got its R rating for strong, brutal violence and language throughout and for brief nudity. How do you feel about this movie getting an R rating?
I'm glad it has an R rating because we'll actually get to get a Wolverine who's not a fucking pussy.
Thank you. I think we've learned something. If anything, 2016 taught us R-rated Marvel films can still be mega blockbusters. Thank you, Deadpool. Thank you, Ryan Reynolds. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Because that proved it to us. I think that proved it beyond a shadow of a doubt that they could have something be R-rated and still be amazing, still pull in a great audience. And I was really shocked to see that. Anything else you got to add to this episode before we get out of here, man? Any other news we missed this week?
Not that I can think of, at least not initially.
Yeah, I can't either, man. The only thing that I saw that really even held my interest this week, like I told you, man, it's January. We hadn't done a news show in a long time. And then I know there are now cyborgs in your neighborhood. I don't know how many more episodes we still have in us before the government finds out I know they're out there. I got nothing, man. I got nothing. Only thing you sent me this week that I still haven't read, I do want to kind of talk about the new Blade Runner 2049.
Okay.
I think I'm going to wait, though, until we get some more information about it. Besides the teaser trailer that we saw, all that teaser trailer showed us was Ryan Gosling and Harrison Ford together. I do know Jared Leto is attached to it. I do know it is a continuation of the original story, but they're really keeping hush right now. And until I see another trailer, I don't want to say anything yet.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to see where it goes. I think that's going to be our best bet, to see what happens and where it goes before we jump into it. And then I think with that, man, that'll be it for me. And I think that's all the stuff I wanted to cover. You got nothing?
Nope, I ain't got none.
All right, man. So this, I'm you know what I'm excited for? We got some big shows coming up this year. I think we're near getting ready to announce our next big one. This is on the level of Dice. We got a guest coming this year in 2017 that's on the level of when we had Dice on.
Yeah, hopefully we can get that nailed down pretty soon.
Yeah. We've been in talks. We've been emailing back and forth. They're excited to come on the show, which I think made me more excited that they're excited to be on this podcast. Which I was like, that's credibility. We are really happy that you said that. And I think it's cool that they're going to come on the show. We're just trying to get some dates nailed down. They're kind of in a crunch period right now. And then we got some big shows coming up with some guys that are really making some waves online. So we got some, a guy that's going to be publishing his own comic book soon. We're getting in some people that I think some really interesting guests for this year. But I think other than that, I'm excited for 2017 and what we got lined up for people. And plus, we just launched our Twitch stream.
Yeah, we got to do that again at some point.
We definitely have to. My inbox has been blown up this week. People are wanting to see us finish the game. I don't know if we can finish the game.
We didn't even get past the first hour.
We can't get past the first freaking hour of the game, and there are people like, we want to see you play again. It was really cool. And we thank everybody that came out and supported it. The video has been shared more times on Facebook. It hadn't gone viral, but I've been seeing it shared quite a bit. I'm seeing it all over. And I even shared a clip. We got a new member to our Team Lift family. Mr. Cameron Hopkins. Want to send a shout out to him. He is now our new mod for our Twitch channel, which is what is it? Twitch.tv/Go
Team Lift.
Go Team Lift. Yeah. So we got that going on. So Cameron's joined the Team Lift family. Really excited about that, and he's doing some great things for us. About time we added a visual element to this insanity we call a podcast. And so we're just gearing up for 2017. Want to thank everybody for supporting us. Thank everybody that's still, stuck with us through 2016 as we launched this. The numbers are growing. The downloads are growing. The show is growing. So really excited about what we're going to be able to deliver here in 2017. All right. With that, peace. Thanks for listening to the Team Lift Podcast with your hosts, Brendan Bowie and Roderick McDaniel. Join us again next week as we discuss more topics from geek culture. Be sure to follow us on our Twitter page @GoTeamLift, as well as our personal pages @Coach Silky and @Bizide. You can direct questions and comments to us on our Twitter page, as well as find links to all of our social media outlets. Thank you for listening. See you again next week.